I've always liked, the Marines. I always wanted to do something with the Marines. And when I was working at fast food or something, helping my mom pay bills, and my little sister got a little bit of money from a car accident she had been in. And so she said, well, you know what, I'll pay for you to come to college, because I don't want you to end up on the streets selling drugs, doing all that other stuff. And I said, all right, good to go. I'm going to college. And so I went to college for about a semester and a half, and I couldn't do it. It was, tough, and took the test to go in the Marine Corps. It's actually my third time taking it. And my sister studied with me, helped me, and I passed it. And I said, hey, yes, this is it right here. So that's when I went in.
The urge to join the military had kind of been there for a while. September 11th kind of just solidified it. The Marines just seemed like the people that got the job done. There really is no way to prepare yourself for it. That's, I think, what they plan on doing for you. They put you in a situation that you can't expect, and they push you to your absolute limits, and then you find out that you have more than what you thought you had. And I think that was one of the best experiences of my life at the time.
Not very many people say, hey, I've been to Iraq. I wanted to get away from, where I was, and I wanted to, travel, see the world, do what the commercials say, I want to be a few to proud. Well, I knew I was going right after I got out of boot camp. They told us, yeah, you guys are probably going to Iraq. So I'm like, all right, well, Mom, Dad, lady, I'm going to Iraq. Mom's like, pray, keep your head down. Let Jesus be your guide. And so I was like, well, this is it.
Fallujah was like a pot that was just on the edge of boiling over. It was the center of a spider web that was just branching out into all areas, and it was affecting everyone around there. We knew it was just a matter of time before we went out and cleaned it all out. It was the most intense 2 months of my life. Right when we went into the city, they declared everyone in the city hostile. Anyone you see is a potential threat to you and should be treated as such. There was a bunch of occasions where we came to a house and there was a family still in there, even though they'd been told to evacuate, but they didn't. We came across this one house where we kicked down the door and this Iraqi flung himself at us, and I don't know why, but we didn't shoot. And it turns out he was just an old blind man that couldn't leave the city. Then there were occasions where you'd run into a room, you'd run into somebody, and you just pull the trigger, and it turns out an insurgent was with you trying to bring his weapon to bear on you, and you got him first. So every single door to every single room was always a possibility of death. And then on November 10th, it all changed for me, because that was the day, the Marine Corps birthday, that my best friend was killed. And he was the first KIA for Kilo Company. And it was probably the day that changed my life forever. Lance Corporal Eric Hodges was probably my best friend. He knew me better than anyone else in the entire world, and losing him broke me. After that, I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about self-preservation, period. My goal in life at that point was to kill as many insurgents as possible before they killed any more of my friends.
Trent Thomas, 25-year-old Marine Corporal. He's one of 8 men charged in connection with the kidnapping and murder of a 52-year-old Iraqi, Hashim Ibrahim Awad. Trent Thomas initially pleaded guilty to several charges, including murder, conspiracy, kidnapping, and making false official statements. Now his attorney tells me he has asked the judge to withdraw that plea, instead entering a plea of not guilty, saying he acted with lawful authority.
Do you still feel as though you personally did what you had to do that day?
At the time, I felt that I was doing what I had to do. And now, that I'm back here, I know that it was wrong of what we did, and for that, I'm truly sorry.
Were you ordered to do what you did?
I really can't say.
Bakos.
He was our corpsman. He fought in, the Battle of Fallujah too. Pretty quiet person, family guy from what I've seen.
Was he your friend?
Yeah, me and him were pretty good friends over there.
John Jaha.
That's my pride and joy. He was one of my Marines in my fire team. Just a good Marine. I taught this Marine from the start, and 100% loyal. Shoemates, he was our bull. Like, Shoemate could carry anything. He was like our mule. Knows what he's doing. He ain't take no stuff. He was like our muscle. Jackson's quiet type, stayed off the radar. Every squad has to have that poster boy, the pretty boy Marine. He was our poster boy. Magic was the laid back, smooth running. He knows his job and he's confident. And since he knows his job so well, he's real cocky about it. Our whole squad was cocky about it because we were really good at what we did. At least I think we are. Me and Pennington have been in the same platoon since we were PFCs and privates. So I've always known Pennington.
He's an awesome guy to be around. He was taught the basics of the Marine Corps, and then he took that to a new level. He always made sure to take care of his Marines very well. Hutchins is the most charismatic man that I've ever been around, bar none. One of the better leaders of Marines.
He's the most confident person you'll ever meet in your entire life. If they told me I had to go back right now to Iraq and I had to go to the most hostile zone that there was, and I had to pick one person in my squad leader, it'd be Sergeant Hutch.
He has that indefinable property that makes men want to follow him and do what he tells them.
The squad, led by Larry Hutchins, was based in the town of Hamdaniya. Hamdaniya was considered an insurgent and terrorist stronghold, and every day, once the Marines crossed the wire, they were in constant danger. They set up a base in an abandoned house and coined it Camp Bushido. They were sleeping a few hundred yards from people who wanted them dead.
So on the first tour, we were low-level cops. We didn't even wear flak and Kevlar outside the wire because we didn't want to be seen to be inhuman. The second time was an all-out war. It was a high-intensity conflict. There's really no words to describe what went on there. And then the third time, the intensity was there, but there was no conflict. There was police action. It was Marines out there trying to use what they learned in their previous tours in Iraq to get the job done. But the tools weren't there. We were expected to fill the parts of the local military, the local police force, and the local FBI. And we didn't have the personnel or training to deal with it.
After being there for a while, about 3 weeks, we knew where all the bad people were. You just get a bad feeling, kind of like, walking down, a bad street in East St. Louis in the middle of the night. You just got that feeling.
Quite a few of them who came running after 9/11 and enlisted to go to war. And they found themselves, certainly in the Hamdaniya case, in what the commanding general calls the morally brutalizing environment of war in Iraq.
The squad was responsible for gathering intelligence and for hunting down known terrorist suspects.
They were thrown into like an intelligence type situation to retrieve this information, which they really had a like on-the-job training type thing. They weren't really trained for that,
For the amount of training that we had doing this, we did this job extremely well. We picked it up very quickly. We were extremely adaptable to the situation. But it wasn't enough. The enemy was playing on their home turf, their language, their people, no rules.
My understanding is, I think Thomas and Magacola, they were on their third tour. And that's when one of my big arguments with the Marine Corps. In my days in the Marine Corps, when you went to a combat area and you had maybe a sergeant that had never been in combat, you didn't send him out on patrol right away. You sent him out with a seasoned patrol leader who'd been in a couple of firefights, and you sent that new sergeant with him as an observer. This did not happen with Sergeant Hutchins.
A squad that was on ambush duty decided to go into business for themselves and to take out first a suspect, a prime target, and then unable to find that target, they went to a secondary target, took him out, killed him, put some evidence, some phony evidence around, cooked up a story, and thought they had done a good night's work. And it unraveled very, very quickly when the family complained. The Marine Corps looked at it, and the whole thing kind of collapsed, and the whole sort of conspiracy to tell a certain story didn't hold up very well.
Hutchins had a plan. His plan was, we're going to be proactive, we're going to go get this guy, He lives in this village. We're going to bring him out to this ditch that had previously been dug by whoever digs ditches along the sides of roads. We're going to place the guy in this ditch. We're going to shoot him, and we're going to make it look like we engaged him while he was planning an IED. And when we tried to stop him, he returned fire, and we killed him in accordance with what the rules of engagement would allow. That was the plan.
The family of Hashim Ibrahim Awad alleged that U.S. forces pressured him to act as an informant to gather information on who was planting roadside bombs and carrying out other attacks. The family says he repeatedly refused because he considered it to be without honor, and because he didn't agree, the family says he was murdered, and evidence was staged to make him look like a dead insurgent.
كل شيء ما يعرف بس يعرف زرعاته جابوا ياخذوه من عندنا وصارت طلقات هوسه قلت لهم شكو ما خلوني اروح اشوفه قالوا يابا هاشم قتلوه